Welcome back, folks, to the channel. It's been a minute since we worked on the Ratty 68, my Dodge Charger, my pride and my joy. Spent a little time messing around with my Dart, my drag car. Had a couple of videos out on that. Feel free to jump over to the channel and check those out. In the meantime, we'd been waiting on some parts to come in, and they actually have been here for a little bit. A brand new dipstick. We're going to try this guy out. It's got quite the rubber grommet, rubber bushing, whatever you want to call it. Of course, it fastens to the bell housing of the transmission and has a locking mechanism at the end of the dipstick. That should be fun. Not only that, while we're under there, we have to mess around with the shifter cable. See if we can't figure out why I could not get it to go into high gear the last time I drove it. And after that, we're going to put an electric fan on there. So hopefully that'll at least maintain it for some little bitty cruising. Because that's probably all I'm going to do with it for a little bit. With the 456 gear ratio in the back, it will not be doing much freeway time, if any. So we're hanging out down under. So you can see the pan rail right there. It is a little bit wet, maybe even moist for some of you. So there is a little bit of oil finding its way out. So that O-ring in the dipstick, something's still up with it. And this is the second dipstick I've had in and several O-rings. So maybe this transmission, just the O-ring, isn't enough. So I've got this fancy ATI one that I showed you a few minutes ago. We're gonna get the transmission bolt that holds the dipstick bracket. We're gonna get that pulled out, and then we're gonna do a fast switcheroo on this dipstick and see if this ATI one will do the job. Hi, how you doing? Finally got this stupid bell housing bolt out, the transmission to the engine bolt, I guess. Between the old dipstick, the headers, the everything else, this is what my apparatus looked like. I got 9,000 extensions in there and a universal and everything else, but the bolt is out. Now we're going to make the switcheroo on the dipstick. New one's in its resting place. Man, that sucked, I tell you. You pull the old one out, probably lost easy half a quart of freaking fluid. But the new one's in place. I got the bolt started. I'm gonna tighten it down. Hello again. All right. Let's see, where's my light? Dipstick is in. It's got a much more significant O-ring. It's really a grommet, you know, that shoves into the transmission. The dipstick shoves into that. Now I just have half a quart to a quart of transmission fluid residual lurking that I've got to one, clean off the car and off of my drip pan. But it's in. The transmission bolt through the bracket is tight. Can't really see that. Sorry about that. But that's that. Before we move on, let's put that beautiful new dipstick in its receptacle. Actually, I wonder if I have an option to go that direction. So the handle locks this way. Boom. Translock. Alright. For now, that will conclude the transmission dipstick portion. So here we are, another day, another time under the Ratty 68 Dodge Charger. So I actually had issues with this linkage before. At the moment, it just will not shift into high gear, and most of the problem is there's just clearance issues everywhere. The routing of the cable is not ideal. This, you know, funky, crazy bend around the transmission there. And then really the biggest problem, I think, is that the end of the cable, or the end of the linkage, I guess you'd say, always wanted to rub up against the cooler line. And so I'm going to start there. I'm going to take this one off. I've got a new fitting to add in there to change the angle of the dangle. And, you know, we'll see if at that point I have room to move. Yep, I need a lift.
Don't we all? I mean, you can make more friends if you got a lift.
That's true. I'm sure those of you that do have a lift, it's like having a truck. You have more friends when you have something that people need to borrow. I have a truck, and I don't know, I mean, if you need me to help you move, I guess I can. I'll be honest, I don't know if I want to, but I'm a good guy, I'm a friend. I will help you move. Oh, but anyway, under here, taking off this transmission cooler line. And as mentioned, a lift would be nice. I might actually be able to raise this up enough so I can get my hands into a good position.
You're gonna have to get all this stuff out when I start painting.
You want to turn the garage into a paint booth, do you?
Oh, I told him I'd paint it for him. And I'd buy the paint. Yours too. If you want to sand it all down, we'll paint it.
Well, this one needs a lot of metal work first.
Need a lot more than just sanding.
We'll paint it pink. How's that?
I don't think so. All right, there comes the mess.
Oh, I got told Nathan.
There's another quarter quart. No, that's not so bad. If I just get this cooler line up out of the way a little bit and get this brand new angle dangle fitting here in. And this is the part that is going to suck a little bit. This car is really not high enough for me to get my other arm over here. At least not very easily. Oh, but we're there. We're there. Well, that's why you get swivel connectors, so you can do what you got to do to tighten them in, and then you can kind of bring it back to where you want it. Probably the most important thing I could use right now, brake clean. I forgot to get it. So I'm struggling to get this and flare fitting tightened down. Plus the fact that I'm really not in a frame of mind to be laying on my back doing work at my advanced age. I'm not 20 anymore, folks. Well, again, for those of you that have skipped around the video, shame on you. But secondly, we are tightening an AN fitting in the trans cooler line system. I changed the angle of the dangle so I could get a little bit more adjustment in the shifter cable. Last time I drove it, if you watched the last video, you saw that I couldn't get it to shift into high gear, and it was obviously a cable problem. You could feel it. You know, the shifter was just like, nope, not moving. So we're getting things changed down. I put a different, actually, it was a straight coming out of the transmission right into the line. And, well, the cable end there could kind of get in the way of the, well, I should say the line, the cooler line got in the way, or could get in the way of the shifter linkage. So I put a 45 in there to change the angle so it comes out at a less drastic location in regards to the shifter cable. So as soon as we get this thing tightened up, we can start monkeying with the adjustment. So I do my best not to teach my kids new words when we're working on cars. But now that the boy that likes to work on this stuff with me, he's 18 and just graduated high school, and he took auto shop in school, so he came home and taught me a few new words. I bit the bullet, took the bracket off. Can't really see that. I guess I should turn some light on in this place. The lines are connected. Now, time to start readjusting this stupid thing. And I think I'm going to start with a fresh one, because this one does have some bendage in it, and that's not cool. We'll start with a fresh one and see if that helps the adjustments. Okay, we've shined a little light on the situation for you. There's the new fitting in place. I'm going to toss a new bracket up in there and start adjusting a cable. In the meantime, my boy's sitting outside the confines of the car here, waiting for something to do. What are you doing out there, Riley?
Vibing.
Vibing. That's what the youngsters do. They vibe. So he's vibing.
Yes, sir.
I'm under the car. We'll get this bracket put back on. Things are back together. Will you want to jump in the car?
Yep.
Okay, it should be in park. Go ahead and click it down one at a time.
Okay.
Go reverse. Neutral.
Neutral.
1,
1,
2,
2.
and 3. Let me try something here really quick. Okay, well at this point the only way to know for sure is to drive it, so I guess we'll do that here shortly. Okay, so I've been busy, but I forgot to film some stuff. I apologize. You may see an electric fan attached to that radiator. And you may see a cat attached to my fender. She's trying to help. Say hi, Kuda. This is the shop cat, Kuda. There's another shop cat running around, but if he ever shows up when we're working, I'll introduce you. So the switch is not really mounted, it's just functioning for the time being, for testing purposes. Blowing some sweet air. So we have cooling. Hopefully that does the job when we go for that test drive. So anyway, that is that. So I think that wraps up the things we wanted to do before we test drive. So we've got a new transmission dipstick, we have an adjusted shifter cable, we have an electric fan. So yes, I think it is about time to go for that test drive. Well, unfortunately, there will not be a test drive today. So I have a crank no start scenario, and I do have spark. It will start on starting fluid, but it will not start on its own, and it's just been me out here working on it, so I need to get under the hood more and see what the carburetor's doing. But I'll get under there and look a little more closely. Hopefully the fuel pump's not dead or something like that. In the meantime, we'll wrap things up. We did get a few things done. I have a working electric fan on the radiator now. I do also have a fresh transmission fluid dipstick installed, which appears to be doing its job. So we're gonna cut this one off. Hopefully a test drive soon. But in the meantime, we're gonna go over there and play around a little bit with the 66 Valiant. So hopefully have a video coming out on that soon as well. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, please subscribe if you haven't already, and we will catch you on the next one.